Shannon, right now we've got Fairview police on the scene. They are diverting traffic here off of Highway 96 near Interstate 40. They're asking drivers to avoid this area.
Her name is Jane Count. She actually lives here right on Brockton Street. She says she was walking her dog along this path into Washington Street when she says the dog here in this home nearly killed her.
Well, Kristen, the wind is really picking up out here and the rain is coming down. Not good news for crews trying to get this mess cleaned up. Now, if you look at all of the damage here in Wilson County, it's amazing no one was seriously hurt, but there's no doubt this cleanup process is going to last for days. 4 area schools in the East Hickman area had to be evacuated. We're told that's about 1,800 students. This is East Hickman Elementary, East Hickman Intermediate, East Hickman Middle School, and East Hickman High School. If you take a look at the video from Sky 5 HD, you can understand why this call was made. We're told the superintendent made this call around 11:30 this morning. He tells me the decision was based on the recommendation of the Hickman County EMA director. Joining me now is colleague Marcus Washington. He has been in Hickman County with me all day. I know you've been focusing more on the health and environmental impacts, and it looks like there was some good news from the EPA. Now, Tracy Swack says this may have been her first trip to Haiti, but it likely won't be her last. She's already looking for her next goal, which is to try to build a classroom here inside the Haitian American Caucus. Well, hey guys, we first covered this story last week when police were looking for Taurus, and just before 10 this morning, investigators say Taurus showed up at the police station to turn himself in, but he didn't have much to say. Why did you turn yourself in?
I have no comment right now.
Are you guilty?
I have no comment right now.
Did you use Craigslist or a casting call to lure in young girls? Edward Taurus Jr. didn't want to answer our questions, but investigators say they have enough evidence to put him behind bars.
We found about 2.5 pages worth of child porn.
In addition to his possession of child pornography charge, Taurus is accused of rape. Police say the 37-year-old used this Craigslist ad as a so-called casting call for young women ages 15 to 24 to be published in a magazine. A 23-year-old woman tells police after responding to the ad, he raped her. Investigators fear there are other victims, possibly minors.
The other ones I'm still trying to get identified. We have found resumes on his computer from females that are ages 15, 17, and things like that. So we are in the process of trying to make contact with them and their parents.
One of the women who answered the ad spoke with us exclusively.
I responded back to the Craigslist ad with my name and my phone number and a picture of myself because that's what it asked for in the ad. And I got an immediate response to it.
She didn't want us to reveal her identity, and though she never ended up meeting Taurus face-to-face, she wanted to come forward with hopes others will too.
I want to be able to help the girl who, this happened to. I just think it's very, very sad, that this has happened and that someone would go this far to, lie about modeling job. A lot of girls, want to do modeling.
If you are a victim of this, regardless of what your age is right now, we really need you to come forward and talk to us because the more we get, the more we can keep this predator off the streets.
Anything you want to say to victims?
Now, Taurus's bond has been set at $1.5 million. Friends and coworkers have told me they believe Taurus is innocent and capable of the acts he's accused of committing. Now, Smyrna police, however, are still asking anyone who may have answered this Craigslist ad to call them at 459-6644. Rory. It certainly was, guys, especially because Phil Kirkpatrick was so close to that first blast. He says he was just about 10 feet away. He thought he was a firecracker at first when he soon realized that he and all those around him were under attack.
Any runner will tell you
getting to go to run in Boston it's magical. It's every runner's dream.
Qualifying for the Boston Marathon is an honor.
And I qualified in Chicago last year, and I was excited. I cried for weeks because I'd qualified.
Not only did Vicki Schmidt qualify, she was 400 meters from crossing the finish line Monday afternoon.
And I had gotten to the convention center, and I was so glad to be at that point.
I had my iPhone, and I was really trying to focus because you can miss a person if you're not really paying attention. So I was looking for what she was wearing.
Schmidt's boyfriend Phil Kirkpatrick, like many supporters, waited at the end. But it wasn't his girlfriend who met him there.
All of a sudden, there was the loudest boom and spontaneous white light fireball, like right at our feet. And honest to goodness, immediately both ears were ringing so loud I couldn't hear.
Kirkpatrick wore his UT Vol shirt that day so that Schmidt might spot him. Instead, others around the world saw him across their television screens as the horror in Boston unfolded.
This is the blood that was sort of splattered in that area.
It's a scene that kept Schmidt from crossing the finish, but not one that will stop her from trying again.
I will go back. I will finish that, go across the finish line. And I'll do it for runners in the world and all those people that lost their lives and family members, and just for the country.
We are inside of the Haitian American Caucus, which serves as a school for some of these kids you see here. It's also a gathering place for families and their children. Today it was a location to serve a basic need, shoes. And some of these came straight from Middle Tennessee. It isn't glamorous work,
Let's try to throw it on my side.
and no one said it'd be easy.
We have at least 300 pairs of shoes here.
But these volunteers will tell you.
I knew when I got here that the children would be smiling. Put your foot right there. And that they would be happy, and they were.
Putting shoes on the feet of those who need it
You got this? Come here.
is fulfilling.
Yes. Okay, there you go.
It's why Tracy Swack of Cookeville wanted to be in Haiti.
This, to us, we can't imagine our children being in school here, but then it's so many of the kids that don't even get this.
7.
After collecting 75,000 pounds of shoes and clothes in the Travel for Souls competition,
Say I love you. Yes.
Tracy won this trip.
You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you.
Walking.
But her reward isn't what she gets.
Whoever's the hardest working one out there.
It's what she'll give away.
I just wanted to give you his shoes so his spirit can come here.
You see, Tracy's father died before this contest was over. But it doesn't mean he wasn't here.
I brought them a long way.
Hundreds of miles from home, worlds apart, the language barrier hasn't kept those in this moment.
And I'm happy to give them to someone that works hard. If you can tell by looking at his hands.
From understanding one another.
I couldn't understand anything that he said, but I could tell that that was the type of man that he was.
Now, Tracy Swack says this may have been her first trip to Haiti, but it likely won't be her last. She's already looking for her next goal, which is to try to build a classroom here inside the Haitian American Caucus. We're in Port-au-Prince. Janet Kim, News Channel 5 HD.